was thinking again, like, 'cause I was so emotional yesterday, man. Like all day, because you know, I don't know what type of fucking issues I have in my head, but all day I was arguing with voices, and I kept listening to all this God shit all day, right? I was listening to all this shit about like anchoring yourself in God and like what Satan does to like get you to fall off your path, distractions, your failures, and all this type of shit. I got so fucking emotional through it all. I kept praying to God, like, oh, just give me something. But I kept forgetting everything that, you know, I was being shown. Because there was times in the day before the day started, like I was making all these bird calls. I was just like, and then I looked up and there was like a peregrine falcon like circling around. And I was like, what? You know, I went to go get my phone out and I was making the calls, and then it went away. And then I looked and it came and it landed on the top of the scaffolding. And I was like, that's crazy, yeah. I don't even really want to be making these videos. I don't even know what I'm fucking doing today. All day I've been so fucking viciously angry, bro. I just wanted to fucking rip every cunt inside the head off, man. Not even for any reason, that they were all pretty decent people. There's even this chick, she's gorgeous, right? This chick on site, she's fucking like drop dead gorgeous, bro. Like she's model material. You don't even understand why the fuck she works on a job site. Like, appreciate like the women and that, and she's like running the labourers and shit as well. And I was thinking like, oh, she must be one of like the builder's daughters or some shit like that. But she had like these short shorts on. It's like, I felt like a dirty cunt, because it was like, I was like, man, she always wears the nicest fucking perfume. And she's got like a, you know, real reserved attitude. She must have a man. Like, you can't be that good looking as a woman with a good job, working around a bunch of fucking pigs all day. We were just like, it's like she must have known what reaction she was going to get if she wore those little short shorts. Start walking around, and I'm like, I don't even want to describe it. So sometimes I just hate being on side A. It just fucking drives me insane. And I was just fucking yesterday, I was just like, man, you know, whenever I feel really good and I want to express myself, it's so easy, because I can express myself through acts of love and kindness. You know, I'm very disciplined with myself and things like that. And then when I'm not feeling good, it's like, if I don't fucking dance or paint or train or fight or fucking go for a run or a push bike ride, like, I'll just turn on anyone, I'll fucking turn around on anyone. But if anyone comes to me and is real and they're just like, you know, like, oh, there's no need, bro, like, you know, like, it's all good. Like, I'll instantly just calm down. I get so fucking angry lately, just these fucking voices in my head, bro. They try to make me believe that, like, I'm this guy. And it's funny, like, my mate has schizophrenia, and he thinks the exact same thing as I do. It's fucking trippy as. And then I met another cunt, and he thought the exact same thing as well. He was fucking spinning me out, bro, how we all thought we were all this fucking guy who does all this shit, bro. Like, we're all this guy who does all this shit. I didn't even know what I was going to say before. I don't even really give a fuck anymore. I've been trying to live more like Jesus, but it's fucking difficult, It's so difficult. Because it's like, no one wants to just sit and listen to what you have to say, because they're like, you don't have any fucking money, bro. Like, nobody's following you, bro. What's your followers on Instagram? You got 2 followers, cunt? I'm like, yeah, I skitsed out and I had a fucking crybaby sook attack, so I deleted everyone. I deleted all of my fucking followers. I just removed them all, because I was just in my bedroom, like, having a fucking cry, like, oh, fuck all these, fucking this shit. I don't need anyone to look at my shit. I'm down putting it up to be looked at. Like, I can make my own way, this, that. So I was trying to say all this shit, and then I was like, I was looking at myself, I was like, fuck. What do we do with ourselves, You just gotta, like, go to the gym and then just, like, pray and then tell yourself that the voices in your head aren't real, and person. It's like you thought you were this person for 5 years, and it's like your entire life was relying on this shit becoming real that was never real in the first place. And you're just now stuck being like, I just wasted probably the best 5 years that I'm going to have in my life on thoughts in my head that I thought were real, because I thought I could talk to people on YouTube, and all these famous people were my friends. And it's like, it's such a disappointing realization when you realize that you're just crazy. Like, see, the other cunts I've talked to, there's no way in their mind that they can conceive for a second that it's not real. Like, the possibility of it being real is so much greater and so much more just that they just can't be like, nah, there's no possibility that it's not real. It's like, imagine if it was real, and it's like, I'm just like not believing it, because I'm like, well, logically and if you have like a measure of intelligence and understanding, and it's like logically and rationally you'd be like, this isn't real. Like, you know, the voices in my head aren't real, and the things that I see are not real, because I'm intelligent and smart enough to know that that's a psychological problem. Your brain is able to build neurons based upon trauma and all this type of thing, and you can feel so bad about yourself that your brain will start to create false realities that you live inside of and that you feel totally believe, and that you just can't escape from, because it's like you're just feel so shit about yourself. And it's like people, they get stuck in and believing that they write most of the rap songs in the world, that people know who they are, that when they close their eyes and focus enough that they can fly, and then they try to jump off buildings, you know, where they sit on the side of the road, just being off the road, when all they have to do is take one step back, but in their thought they're just thinking, it's not going to affect me if this car hits me, and then they just wake up on the ground with a broken ankle, and you're like, well, I guess fucking that's not real. Like, what your mind is capable of doing, people don't actually truly understand, because what it takes for you to activate your mind, you have to like literally break your understanding of what reality actually is. Like, for me, I haven't spoke to many doctors, so it's like, I don't know for sure, but from what I can gather is that when I was beaten when I was young, right, I was beaten so badly that I died. And I died for a few times on an operating table, and I came back to life, and then like I'd never remembered that, and no one ever told me. And what happened is that I had built a reality, because I had these injuries, that when I was younger it was extremely apparent that there was something fucking wrong with me. Like, there was no way that you could look and be like, nah, this cunt's fucked up, bro. Like, and everyone thought, because I was pretty sure my mum was so like broken from it all, that everyone kind of thought that I was just born that way. But it's like, no, I was actually like fucking, it wasn't my fault, right? Again, I don't know if my mum's a liar or not, because she said my head hit the ground when I came to birth. Like, she was bent over in like a stand up with her knees on the ground and her ass backwards and arched over like that. And she said that, like, you know, I don't know if it's real, I'm just going off what she's saying, but it was like, I just came out, and then the doctors, like, I hit the ground, and as the doctors called me, because I just was like, whoosh, like I just shot out. And because it was like, normally in my head and my face would be facing up, when most women do it on their back, where it was like my head would have been scooped down, so I would have like shot down like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, when I came down, and she reckons I hit my head, and then I was looking at that photo, so you can see on one of the photos there's just this giant fucking, it looks like a giant fucking gas room. And it's like, I don't know if anything's real, because this is the whole thing of when you build false realities. This is my like the whole point that I'm getting to, is that like when you build these false realities, mine started that too, from this experience that I never knew that happened until I was 29. what happened? I was injured, but my mind had built a false self over my true self to conceal the fact that I was actually injured. So I was the only person who was seeing not what everybody else was seeing. And it wasn't until I found this all out, and like, you know, I was having all these repressed memories and dreams coming back of like me being in a bathtub and like looking at a lady crying in a corner. And I said to my mum's friend, and she broke, and she said, "No, Josh, like, I can't lie to you. Like, if this happened to you when you were young, like, you've got to talk to your mother." And then like mum came around, and she didn't really say too much. She just said like she came around the next day. When she opened the door, I crawled to her, and she said she said my eye was swollen, and my head was swollen so bad you couldn't see my eye, and that like half my body from like my shoulder to my ankle basically was bright red, and it was like kind of shriveled. And she was just started crying. She just said like, "I took you in my arms," and she's like, "You just curled up into my arm, and then I took you to the hospital." And then she just like kind of was a bit shaky on everything else. It wasn't until I had pressed all the people when we used to live in the Housing Commission house. She used to go drink with everyone around, and I thought when she moved out and I just lived there on my own, I thought like I'd talk to all the people around me to see what she had said. And a few of them started cracking over enough time. I was able to just start prying information out of them. So I built this false reality around myself because nobody told me, and it's like my mind was able to bend what my reality was in the way that I absorbed light into my brain, right? My mind was able to create neural pathways that tell me what I see, because your brain creates your reality around you. You only see a thumbnail in front of you, and all the light that reflects off the surface then goes into your eye. That's information inside that light. Your brain then breaks that information down based upon its understanding of what reality is, and then it builds what reality looks like around you. So you're absorbing the light from the trees, the road, the cars, and all this shit, and that's how you see things. It's like you absorb light into your eyes are connected directly to your brain then renders in real time what everything is looking like. And that's all proven science fact. Anybody can look that up. You can only see a thumbnail clearly in front of you if your brain doesn't render everything around you. Otherwise, it's all just a big fucking blur around you, and all you see is one tiny little dot of speck of reality of what it actually is, and everything else is just blurry as fuck. It's your brain is rendering that using the information that's absorbed off the light, that's refracting when it's hitting the surfaces of all the different things, and then absorbing into your eye. Same as like it happens with a black hole. Like no light can escape your eye, no light can escape a black hole, because your eye just absorbs all light around it. That's why you can't ever close your eyes. You can only put a cover over the top of it. And then technically you're just looking at your eyelids until your brain shuts off, you know, because it then releases chemicals into your body. Because it's like, oh, we have darkness, the curtains are over our face, release chemicals into the body to tell the body to go into a rest mode. And then you start, because you can technically keep yourself awake without taking drugs 24/7. You know, I would maybe like, because weed makes your heart race and it can bring you back up to being awake and alert very quickly. But like, you can start to release adrenaline and stuff and train your brain to release adrenaline and growth hormones, anything you need into your body, just by training it through meditation and building the neural pathways. Because that's how powerful your brain is. It can literally warp reality and change the entire spectrum of what your chemical makeup of your body is, just by you telling it to create neural pathways inside your brain. And it was like, I always wondered why I went through all that shit, and sometimes you'll never know. Sometimes you're just never gonna know why you go through shit until you learn some shit from it, and you're like, if I had never gone through that, then I would have never learned all this shit. Even though it makes me so angry to know that everybody I ever knew as a child and as a young teenager basically lied to my fucking face, because my mum told them that I didn't know anything, because she, you know, instead of like studying me and being like, how does your mind not see what we all see? Like, how is your mind doing that? You know, like, I swear they did all these fucking tests, like more repressed memories and shit. But I've only got one thing to go on, which is like something Brendan said, and it's large. It's more of a larger possibility, but it's the way he kept saying it many times, like trying to imply that I had been through that as well, about having like electroshock therapies and all this shit. So it's like I've been trying to get the records from Westmead Children's Hospital. I should go back in there again, because I was a bit of an asshole last time, and then they were like, I'm fucking off my face, like, I need to prove that this is all real, like, blah, blah, blah. But what you can do with your mind is so insane, especially if you have quite an in-depth understanding of reality and all the things that make it up. Like, if you have a strong understanding of science and the laws of attraction and gravity and all this type of stuff, and how friction creates heat, and then how heat can be chained together to create a kinetic force, and you can have like kinetic chain reactions. It's like you can start to train your mind to look for ways to heat up the molecules that are around your hand. And it's like, if you train yourself hard enough, you might even be able to like heat them up to just like create fire on your hands. Do you know what I mean? And it's like you're really only like charging like little atoms and molecules and smaller objects that I don't know the names of right now around your hand. Like hypothetically, it's a hypothesis with your mind, because it's like you're just telling yourself and building neural pathways that are saying that you can do that. Like, if I can bend reality enough that I can't see what I look like I can't see what I look like, and people can't tell me for some reason, like all my friends, like it's either that or schizophrenia. Like, you know, I'm not weighing out either option. I'm saying there's more evidence not for schizophrenia and more for that I'm on the path, but it could just be complete blown schizophrenia. Because when you have like what I have, when you can bend mind reality and your imagination can hyperfixate and over imaginate, you're able to build entire worlds around you where you can be like I am right now. But it's like I see like a long grassy field, right? And instead of driving a car, I'm actually on a horse. And instead of like being in work clothes, I'm in like a light armor. And it's like my face, I have longer things, and it's like I can see it when I look at myself here. I can see it with all the beard. I can see it so much that I think that, you know, if I train myself and focus myself hard enough, I would become that, and I would be riding a horse. Like, I would be riding the horse. And I'm getting lost in my points now, to be honest, because I'm just rambling on about nothing for no reason at all, because I'm just fucking, I don't know, just so fucking lost and broken from arguing with these people, wondering if I'm just creating realities, knowing that I'm just creating realities that aren't real realities. But if you create a reality, it also is in a 50% actually real. As much truth and real you give it is what it will be. It can become your entire fucking existence, even if you're living as a human being, not in that world. You can get so wrapped up in it that I think that's why people write books and things. Like, think of George R.R. Martin. Think of like how do you think he sat down, or like George Lucas? Do you think these cunts sat down, right, and just one day decided, I'm going to write a movie? Or from the moment that they were a child and able to imagine these worlds, they had been living deeply in these worlds until they decided to write about it and write it. It had been like some dream of theirs to bring this into reality. And it's like now they have like Star Wars and fucking Game of Thrones, like. And it's like, is that real? Because they've made actors and they've made a TV show, and in its own way, it's its own reality now. It's its own dimensional reality of existence that we can all watch on a box. And it's like, it's real in its own way because we can see it, we can feel it, we can interact with it. We know that it's not real, but at the same time, it becomes so real for us that it warps our actual reality that we're in. You don't even know it because you're just building neural pathways inside your brain that are releasing chemicals. It makes you wonder, like, do you wonder why you watch TV shows and movies, and nearly, if it's not based upon our reality now and it's something that we've created anew, have you noticed that there are no movies or TV shows there's just news, or like some sort of form of like community social network. Like maybe not like how we have, see how we don't have social networks, we have social medias. It's like all these other movies, like futuristic, like back in the day, like you think these cunts are going around imagining what the future's going to be like, or imagining, oh man, like in the past, bro, imagine like living there, how much easier it'd be. Like, fuck, you know how much you're warping your reality in your brain, like the types of chemicals you're releasing to yourself in your brain every time you do something like that, because you just deep down in your heart know that the only way to succeed in this reality is to sacrifice yourself to make as much fucking money as possible. Doesn't matter how you do it or how you get there, as long as you can get shit for yourself, as long as you have yourself taken care of and you have everything you need. Who gives a fuck what drugs you sell, or how you haul yourself out, or who many cunts you rip off, or what hours you have to fucking work, because you'll have houses and cars and holidays. And it's like, I think those cunts back then or in the future are going to be thinking about shit like that. Like, you never see in movies that they're ever thinking about shit like that. It's always, they're so just like solidified in their ways. They're so like, oh, it's fucking angering, man, because it's like, that's just how we are. We're so like unimaginative as a whole. Like, everybody's so dull, and I don't want to be like an asshole or like a dickhead or like try to bring people down, because it's like everybody has to like watch TV and listen to music. Like, you could learn to write and use your own imagination and have your own shit, but like, you get so bunkered down in everyone else's shit. And this is more to myself than anyone else out there, so don't take offense to this. And if you do take offense to it, it just means that I'm probably fucking on the money about something you feel about. I was like, we all get so fucking bunkered down in this life because we have to. Because the only way to really truly know happiness is be absolutely content with basically nothing, right? Love your family more than you hate doing whatever else you have to do in life, right? Be content with being lesser and not chasing more, because you don't have a choice, and that's just the way it is. Like, or you get stuck turning into crazy or being depressed. You dip yourself into these worlds that other people created when they were just kids, because they just had an imagination and they built their entire life around trying to bring this reality that they believed in more than the own one we live in into life. And even though they weren't sure if it was going to inspire people, but all people do is not get inspired by it. They don't get inspired by it to go and build their own realities and have their own imaginations. They become part of it. Their minds bend and warp to become part of somebody else's fucking fictional reality that we all live inside of in some weird way, because we have to be bunkered down. If not, we go crazy and get schizophrenia. And you end up like me and my fucking couple mates who all think that we are the most famous rappers and everyone knows who we are, and we're married to these Tammys and stars and these beautiful women and Nicki Minaj's and fucking all these things, and everyone loves us and everyone hates us, and in the future everyone's just going to give us everything and be so grateful and appreciative for everything that we've ever done without ever having a single way to prove it. And I'm over here being like, no, I know that you can warp reality. I wonder if you can train yourself to fucking change the molecules and atoms that are around your hand, right? Because you have a fucking vibrational force, because there's a current that exists inside of your body that moves around, right? You have a certain amount of temperature and you have a current that moves around your body, and you have several different types of systems where there is constant energy, sparks of absolute energy, basically like an extremely high and potent form of electricity flowing all through your body in all these different ways, like through your bloodstream, your nervous system, your meridian systems, through your fucking brain in like 10 different fucking ways. You're shooting out all this energy and all this power. Why isn't it plausible to say, if you can build your mind to render reality in real time, to see yourself as something that you are not so completely, that the only reason you don't believe that you're that thing is you have a measure of intelligence to be like, the more likely, highly possible, if I'm going by probability and using the mathematical equation, then the probable factor is that that shit is not real, right? That shit is not real, You're not fucking transporting across time and space. But at some level, I'm like, if on a quantum level of mechanics, you're able to see two molecules or atoms teleport one place to another place. You're able to see them split and teleport, and when they're observed, change their fucking nature of their existence. That's already saying, that's basically what happens in your brain, except instead of instantly traveling from one point to another point, you have a really small network that it has to, like a current, it has to flow down in order to get to these major areas in the biological sections of your brain in order to release chemicals in certain ways due to the way that you interact and interpret through your intelligence and understanding of what reality and awareness actually is. And that's all just done by fucking sparks of light and energy in your brain that's created by all the different moving forces. That is not just not all the blood moving in my body and all the signals making every bit of my muscle move so that I can move all my fingers and I can move every muscle in my fucking face and through my toes and my legs and through my whole body to make me breathe and heartbeat like any animal has a natural biological neural pathway, right? And then we have our own self-aware pathway where we can build whatever we want to believe whatever the fuck we want to believe. And you can overwrite whatever intelligence, understanding, or awareness you have, because that's the insane power of your fucking mind. And it's like, we all just bunkered down, living this shit, getting stuck in other cunts' fucking dreams and hopes and ambitions, thinking that they're our own when we don't even know ourselves at all. Cunts go live their entire lives, never know one thing about themselves. All they do is just work their entire life, never do anything. People who could achieve great things. Every single person has the exact same biological processes. Even me, who's a mid-range autistic, fucking brain damaged schizophrenic, has the same biological and aware neural pathway processes in my mind. Enough power for me having all these currents swishing around in my body, through my nervous system, through my neural pathways, through my meridian system, all the blood traveling around, all my muscles, while I'm moving through fucking gravity, right? While I'm moving through a force that's forcing me to be pulled into the center of the earth, because in the center of the earth, there's an extremely powerful force that you might think of as a small black hole or a small singularity that's so small it can't actually get any bigger because it's not able to, because there's so much dense mass of heat that's around it, it's not able to absorb it all and expand. And then we're all getting sucked into the side of that, and then everything that leads up to where we're on right now is billions of years of some tiny ass little thing sucking atoms into it, and then a heat getting created around it, and then that's getting spun because it gets stuck around a fucking sun now, and then the sun's moving up and down and all the fucking way around it. The universe contracts and expands like this constantly, and everything's getting pulled in this. And if you look at our galaxy, you'd think that we should be dead. We should be dead. Our solar system shouldn't even exist. It rotates at like 10 rotations a fucking second, our galaxy. All this to have this fucking mind that can tell me that I can jump off a building and fucking fly if I close my eyes and imagine it. It's going to become an actual reality. That I can heat up all the molecules around my fucking hand, right, until it's on fucking fire, flaming on fire like that, with feeling nothing. Seeing nothing, but also knowing but not knowing, and never being able to believe, because it's like logical probability factors and all these mathematical equations say that it's likely impossible. All for fucking what? To get bunkered down and live as a fucking peasant? Like, we all have the capability of being as smart as fucking Einstein. But can we be as smart as Einstein when we have to feed our families? When if I don't go to work, I'm gonna have to sleep on the street and eat fucking dog shit every day. Not that I'm always thinking I'm fucking feasting on bowls of my own fucking shit. Thinking, did I just put shit in my mouth? Fucking hell. Being like, why am I reminding myself of why I am fucking sane? Being like, you try to understand all this shit. This fucking is mind-boggling. And the more you fucking just dig in deeper, the deeper you start to get in on it, the more fucking insane it gets. Because you realize, like, Like everything is trying to just eat us as we decay on our own, eating other things that are just trying to exist, that don't even know what the fuck is going on in life and reality, that we don't even know if there's any more in the fucking universe at all. But the probable factor, the mathematical equation states that, yeah, there is a fucking like a 69% chance or some shit like that there's more life like life on Earth out there, even if it's only some single-celled organism. If the universe can exist for 100 million, billion, trillion, thousand, billion, trillion years to a fucking infinite number of time, and we can only see it being existed for 13 billion years, 13.5 billion years, and it changes every time the pace of fucking the expansion and contraction fucking happens, all scientific proof. Go look it up, type it in on Google. There's plenty of scientific papers on all this shit. All right? The time it went from 14.8 billion years to 13.2 to 13.8, but you know what changed? The rate of how it expands and contracts on each other, which depends on like all the different things in the universes and black holes eating each other and galaxies colliding like this. Because if Earth and all this shit has a fucking spheres of magnetism, electromagnetic spheres that act as shields that allow us to have atmosphere and trap oxygen and nitrogen and all these other chemicals high in the air, and as they come together and get more dense, they slow up, and then this helps create clouds and fucking all this rain shit, and the sun then evaporates water, like, and it's all that the theoretically, like if we have a bubble around us, and there's a bubble around us, right, and literally the core has a bubble around it, and then it has another bubble which is the crust, and then the crust has an outer layer of crust, and then you have 5 levels of fucking atmosphere, and then you have another crust, and then all of the planets have that basically in a different way, and then our sun has it, which protects our whole solar system, and our fucking galaxy has it, and we're all existing in these bubbles of electromagnetic gravity type, gravitron, particle type, dark matter, dark energy reactive fucking things that travel through no matter and matter at the exact same time, while going boom, 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 and everything's going whoa, 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 and our galaxy's spinning at fucking 10 rotations a fucking second, and we're on the most outer fringe of it, being like, well, how the fuck have we haven't been eaten by a black hole? Then, like, how do you explain all this? How do you explain that your eye and a black hole are the two only objects in all of existence that, if light is in the presence of, fuck, it's absorbed, it's done, it's broken down into information, it goes inside. Like, a black hole will break entire fucking galaxies down, bro. It'll eat galaxies for 100, 200, 300, 400 billion years. We only see ourselves as 13.5 billion years old in a galaxy, in a universe that can exist for an infinite amount of time, like literally 1,000, 100,000, million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, gazillion, like it's some ridiculous number of time. Like, what's not to say that we're the fucking first sentient, intelligent life form that the universe has produced. It's 13.5 billion years in a fucking time frame of fucking infinity, and that could only be our galaxy has existed for that long. It could be that the rest of existence could be fucking that amount of time already, and we're at the end of it, and we could die, but how we observe time is so fucking small and short, we would never even know.